Welcome. So, here I am. I have to reread SCP-2496 real quick because during the stream, I forgot to switch the perspective from this to this by pure accident. And happens. Sadly, the person who was watching me did not inform me, but that's because they were not sure if I was doing it on purpose or not. So, no blame to them. But I will reread this one again. It's written by Communism Will Win, who we had with SCP-2486, which was the fishing line wire that, that chokes you. And if you choke it doesn't choke you. You have to choke somebody with it, and then you come back to life, and your body is made your blood and your internal body is made out of pomegranates, and you also have a craving for it as well. So that was Communism Will Win who wrote that, and now we're reading their work called A New Parallel Postulate. How do you actually say this? Postulate? Is that correct? Oh well. Here we go. Let's see if everything works. That's not the right page. That's the other page. There we go. There we go. And since we don't have a chat today, we can get rid of that. Here we go. Anomaly class safe, special containment procedures. A digital copy of SCP-2496 is available on Site 81's mainframe to personnel with clearance 3/2496. Testing protocols for SCP-2496 are currently being updated. Description: SCP-2496 is a test composed of 60 English language multiple choice questions on the topic of neuroscience, roughly appropriate for university students in an introductory course. On its own, each question is mundane, if unconventionally worded. SCP-2496 anomalous properties only occur when all questions are presented together. The order of the questions is irrelevant. Regardless of aptitude or other obstructions, any human who attempts to complete SCP-2496 will correctly answer a number of questions equal to exactly half of the time, measured in minutes and rounded to the nearest minute, taken to complete the test, with 2 hours being sufficient for a perfect score. For example, a person who spends 40 minutes on SCP-2496 will answer 20 questions correctly, without exception. Spending more than 120 minutes on the test results in a score of 60. Highly improbable events, unusual behavior, and direct violations of the laws of physics have been noted during testing. See attached testing logs for additional information. So yeah, this we talked about how cool, because down there in the test we will see some more examples, but we talked about how cool it is, the idea of doing a test however you want, and as long as you spend 2 hours you get a perfect score. Now of course, let's be honest, if you did that, you probably did not actually learn or memorize or anything that's written on the thing on the test itself. You probably don't actually have that in your brain. That would be interesting though, even if somebody who doesn't understand what the hell is being said on the questions, if they just spend time on it and then answer it correctly, do they gain the knowledge? Or is it just purely the question is now correct? Because it would be kind of cool if they just sat down and was like, okay, let me just spend, so there's how many questions? 60? So yeah, so 2 minutes per question, right? If you just spend 2 minutes per question and you just have no idea what it is, and suddenly you just go poof. I know everything. You know what I mean? It would be kind of nice. Excerpts from testing log A. Subject D7278. The subject took an introductory neuroscience course in university 3 years prior to this test, receiving a final grade of 55%. Parameters: D7278 was instructed to complete SCP-2496 to the best of her ability. Results: D7278 completed the test in 108 minutes. 54 questions out of 60 were answered correctly. 54 points were awarded. If I were her right now, I'd be like, well, goddamn, I barely managed to do over 50% last time I did this. did I get smarter? Like the foundation doesn't tell her at all like that the test itself that allows you to answer that correctly. It's like, no, you're not smarter. It's literally a cheat code. Subject D7278. Parameters D7278 was given the correct answers to SCP-2496 and instructed to transcribe them in under 20 minutes. Results: D7278's pencil broke after answering the 5th question. Repeated attempts to sharpen the pencil only resulted in further fracturing, from which D7278 received several splinters. A pen given to D7278 experienced similar damage when used, spilling ink over the provided answer sheet and rendering most of it illegible. D7278 then experienced an unprecedented allergic reaction to the pen's ink while handling the answer sheet. The subject expired precisely 10 minutes after beginning the test, in spite of prompt medical attention. 5 points were awarded. So this is why, because we can find out more afterwards. But I believe this is why I was wondering if it was because she answered too fast, or if because she knew the answers beforehand. So I'm leaning more towards the latter, that like the moment you know the answers already, like as in like you got the answer sheet beforehand and then you try to answer the test, it will not like that. It basically is like oh, you're cheating, and it will punish you for that. Death seems a bit extreme. A tiny bit, just a smidge extreme, if that is the case. Subject D4360. The subject possesses limited fluency in English and only cursory familiarity with neuroscience. See? You can hear. That's the ambulance coming to pick up D7278. The ambulance. Subject D4360. The subject possesses limited fluency in English and only cursory familiarity with neuroscience. Parameters: D4360 was given 5 minutes to answer as much of SCP-2496 as possible by circling the letter associated with the correct response and threatened with punishment for incorrect answers. Results: the subject was able to answer 4 questions, with 2 correct and 1 incorrect. Different observers have disagreed on whether B, the correct answer, or C, an incorrect answer, was given for question 2. Thus, the subject was given a final score of 2.5 out of 60. Digital image analysis and chemical tests of the paper have returned contradictory results on which was circled. D4360 claims to have circled D, which is interesting. Like, it does seem like the SCP itself is like realizing if they're under pressure, because it does say here that D4360 has been threatened by the Foundation to answer as correctly as possible. So of course, naturally, they probably like rushed through it, which means like 4 questions and one incorrect. Yeah, was given 5 minutes to answer. So like, in those 5 minutes, they answered 1 question per minute. But it does seem like the incorrect one, the SCP itself is kind of like trying to fix his mistake a little bit more. Maybe. Not sure if it's because it can feel outside like a third party trying to add extra pressure on the subject, or if it's just or if there's any other reason. Who knows? D4688, the subject has no formal education. I didn't accidentally skip, right? Yeah. Education in any sciences. SCP-2496 was administered to D4688 orally with a 5-minute time limit. The first 5 answers given were unremarkable, with D4688 answering 2 correctly, apparently by chance. After the 6th question was asked, D4688's vocal tract spontaneously duplicated, resulting in 2 mouths side by side. D4688 vocalized through both vocal tracts simultaneously, giving both an incorrect answer and the correct answer. Repeated interrogation has failed to identify a manner in which D4688 could clarify which answer they intended. As each new method attempted to result in additional anatomical modification, D4688 has been retained for study. 2.5 points were awarded. So here's another case of like adding some sort of weird restrictions or like at least trying to speed up the person through force. And it does seem like the SCP will then affect either the test results or the person by being like they will be part of the I don't know, the world that will lean towards the correct answer, but also still have the incorrect answer because they're being rushed. So I do think it's mostly because the anomaly itself is like you should take your time, and if then something tries to rush you, everything goes to shit. Subject D6918. The subject is somewhat proficient with a bow and arrow. D6918 was instructed to answer SB2496 by shooting arrows at appropriately labeled target at Site 81's recreational area. In each case, the correct answer was fully obstructed by a large pillar, although their location was obvious. The subject was given 2 hours for this attempt. Results: the subject used a bow and arrow to answer all questions correctly. In 37 cases, the arrow was shot through the pillar despite the arrow lacking the momentum to do so. In 19 cases, arrows were deflected off of objects in the recreational area to hit the target, demonstrating behavior inconsistent with their construction. In the remaining 4 cases, gusts of wind changed the course of an arrow mid-flight, directing it around the pillar and allowing it to hit the correct target. Notably, Site 81's recreational areas indoors, full points were awarded. So it's interesting because at the end, this makes you question. First of all, one thing: if in school you were allowed to answer questions by shooting targets with an arrow, I would have loved test time. I would have loved doing tests. Even if I didn't get the answer correctly, I would have loved being outside, having like 4 targets, and then hearing a question, and then just shooting one of the targets. That would have been fun. That would have been so much more fun than sitting in a fucking room and just be like, you know what I mean? That would have been that is a curse. Honestly, school, make tests more fun. Make tests more fun. I understand that, like, at the end, like, oh, they will probably remember the fun part more than the actual what they learned. So they might be more excited to learn things if you be like, hey, we're going to shooting range, and you have to shoot the right answer. They're like, okay, okay, if that's so. But yeah, and also the second thing I want to talk about is technically, this is a case where, again, the subject knows the answer beforehand because they're like, oh, it's obstructed. But I guess it's not the same as actually seeing the correct answers before doing the test, like as in like seeing the answer sheet. I guess if something aids you in knowing the answer, but again, knowing the answer sheet also aids you in knowing the answer. So I'm interested why the... I guess the only difference here is that the subject took their time, right? They didn't rush compared to the other person who was like trying to answer as fast as possible. Last one, subject D6918. D6918 was instructed to answer SCP-2496 by placing 10 kilogram weights with appropriate labels at designated spots in the testing chamber. The subject was given SCP-2496 for 2 minutes initially before it was taken away for 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 55 seconds. D6918 was instructed to finish SCP-2496 in the remaining 5 seconds under the threat of termination. Results: D6918 completed 1 problem in the first 2 minutes, expressing doubt that she would be able to complete SCP-2496. When SCP-2496 was returned, the subject moved at an estimated 24 meters per second while moving and placing the weights to correspond to her answers before the time limit. D6918 experienced severe fatigue, dehydration, several torn ligaments in the limbs, a broken collarbone, and 2 dislocated shoulders. All answers were found to be correct, and full points were awarded. Which is like, that's so brutal. Like, at the end, I love super speed, right? I wish I could have super speed, but like not like this. Like the Foundation being like, okay, let's just take the test away from, and then you get to have 5 seconds to answer to answer all the remaining questions. So wait, how long did you have before? The subject was given 2 minutes initially before it was taken. Completing one problem in the first 2 minutes. Yeah, so she had to answer 59 questions in a matter of 5 seconds. So she just like zoomed all over the place. But that shows, like, it does say, as long as you do the test in 2 hours, no matter what happens, you will answer all of it correctly. If that means if the test is gone for the majority of these 2 hours and you come back to get it, then your body will somehow be magically able to answer all the rest of the questions correctly. Which is cool, but in this case, very painful. Well, that's it. I really like this SCP. I think it's not only does it like made me think of the cool idea of like how to answer or how to do tests in a lot more fun ways for school, but I've also just I just think the concept is really cool. Like the fact that like it will force the right answer somehow as long as you take your time, and you can do whatever type of test however you want. You can fucking I don't know, maybe it will ask you how many fucking backflips you have to do on a trampoline. Like one backflip being A, 2 backflips being B, and so on and so forth to answer the question correctly. And then if you just wait, you just wait an hour, then the first 30 questions you will be able to do it in like. Okay, maybe don't wait an hour, because now I think about it, you might get fucking dizzy. You might get extremely discombobulated if you wait an hour and then start doing the first 30 questions on a trampoline. But again, fun idea. Fun idea, really like it. Communism will win. This is a fun idea. I also have a fun thumbnail for it. You guys have to... I'm saying you guys have to wait till the video is out, but you're only watching the video. But yeah, the thumbnail, I was proud of it. It's a fun idea. Well, enjoy the next video that's potentially coming out. It should be coming out. Yeah, it should be coming out in 12 hours. SB2497 should be coming out in 12 hours after this one.